sincerity is the virtue of one who speaks and acts truly about his or her own feelings, beliefs, thoughts, and desires. In Western societies, sincerity has not been consistently regarded as a virtue in Western culture. First discussed by Aristotle in his Nicomachean Ethics, it resurfaced to become an ideal in Europe and North America in the 17th century. And it gained considerable momentum during the Romantic movement, when sincerity was first celebrated as an artistic and social ideal. Indeed, in middle to late 19th century America, sincerity was an idea reflected in mannerisms, hairstyles, women's dress, and the literature of the time. More recently, sincerity has been under assault by several modern developments such as psychoanalysis and postmodern developments such as deconstruction. Some scholars view sincerity as a construct rather than a moral virtue, although any virtue can be construed as a mere construct rather than an actual phenomenon. Literary critic Lionel Trilling dealt with the subject of sincerity, its roots, its evolution, its moral quotient, and its relationship to authenticity in a series of lectures published under the title Sincerity and Authenticity. Aristotle's views Perseus Project Nic. Plus ETH 1127b3 Canon. According to Aristotle, truthfulness or sincerity is a desirable mean state between the deficiency of irony or self-deprecation and the excess of boastfulness. In Confucian societies, see the Analects, beyond the Western culture, sincerity is notably developed as a virtue in Confucian societies. The concept of copyright is expounded in two of the Confucian classics, the Dao Zhu and the Zhongyong, is generally translated as sincerity. As in the West, the term implies a congruence of avowal and inner feeling, but inner feeling is in turn ideally responsive to ritual propriety and social hierarchy. Specifically, Confucian's Analects contains the following statement in Chapter 1, hold faithfulness and sincerity as first principles. Then no friends would not be like yourself. If you make a mistake, do not be afraid to correct it. Thus, even today, a powerful leader will praise leaders of other realms as sincere to the extent that they know their place in the sense of fulfilling a role in the drama of life. In Japanese, the character for Cheng may be pronounced Makoto, and carries still more strongly the sense of loyal avowal and belief. Etymology: the Oxford English Dictionary and most scholars state that sincerity from sincere is derived from the Latin sincerus, meaning clean, pure, sound. Sincerus may have once meant one growth, from sin and Cressa. Cressa is cognate with Ceres, the goddess of grain, as in cereal. According to the American Heritage Dictionary, the Latin word sincerus is derived from the Indo-European root smienkaros, itself derived from the zero grade of sem and the suffixed, lengthened e grade of care, generating the underlying meaning of one growth, hence pure, clean. Controversy an often repeated folk etymology proposes that sincere is derived from the Latin sign equals without, cera equals wax. According to one popular explanation, dishonest sculptors in Rome or Greece would cover flaws in their work with wax to deceive the viewer. Therefore, a sculpture without wax would mean honesty in its perfection. In its early days, the word could refer to the immaterial and material. One spoke of sincere wine simply to mean that it had not been adulterated, or, as was once said, sophisticated. Another explanation is that this etymology is derived from a Greek sparing gift story of deceit and betrayal. For the feat of victory, the Romans demanded the handing over of obligatory tributes. Following bad advice, the Greeks resorted to some faux marble statues made of wax, which they offered as tribute. These promptly melted in the warm Greek sun. The Oxford English Dictionary states, however, that there is no probability in the old explanation from sincera without wax. Also note the entry on sincere in an etymological dictionary of the English language by Walter William Skeat and Storied Words, The Writer's Vocabulary and Its Origins by Jeff Jesk. The popularity of the without wax etymology is reflected in its use as a minor subplot in Dan Brown's Digital Fortress, though Brown attributes it to the Spanish language, not Latin. Reference to the same etymology, this time attributed to Latin, also appears in another of his books, The Lost Symbol. Quotations: Best Be Yourself, Imperial, Plain and True. Browning, Robert. British poet. Bishop Blougram's Apology, 1855, What comes from the heart, goes to the heart. Coleridge, Samuel Taylor. British poet. Table Talk, 1833, Some of the worst men in the world are sincere, and the more sincere they are the worse they are. Hailsham, Lord. British Conservative politician. The Observer, Sayings of the Week, January 7, 1968, 1968, I'm afraid of losing my obscurity. Genuineness only thrives in the dark. Like celery. Huxley, oldest British novelist. Those Barren Leaves, P.T. I. Ch. 1, 1925, What's a Man's First Duty? The Answer's Brief, To be Himself. Ibsen, Henrik. Norwegian dramatist. Peer Gynt, 4, 1, 1867, A little sincerity is a dangerous thing, and a great deal of it is absolutely fatal. Wilde, Oscar. Irish-born British dramatist. The Critic as Artist, pt. 2, 1891. References, sparnotes.com, Ethics, Section 4. Last visited, April 25, 2008. Google Books. Nicomachean Ethics, Book 4, pages 103, 1127 b3-31 by Aristotle, etimeonline.com, Bob Edwards. Origin of the word cereal. National Public Radio. Show, Morning Edition, October 21, 1999. Bartleby.com, Trilling, Lionel. Sincerity and Authenticity. Cambridge, Massachusetts, Harvard University Press, pages 12-13. Ruth Wainwright. If you hear buzzing, get the wax out of your ears. Words. Sydney Morning Herald. Spectrum. Books. PG, November 18, 32, 2006. Sincerity. Bloomsbury Thematic Dictionary of Quotations. London, Bloomsbury Publishing Limited, 1997. Credo reference. Web, October 1, 2012. See also, a 1912 novel by Warwick Deeping is also called Sincerity. Honesty, Poesia, Sincerely, New Sincerity.